again. Now we're going to talk about testosterone and the negative feedback cycle. Let's see. At the onset of puberty, the hypothalamus causes to release the FSH and LH into the male system for the first time. What's FSH? Right, that's the follicle stimulating hormone. It causes sperm production in men and follicle development in women. And LH, what's that? The luteinizing hormone. That's also a reproductive hormone in both men and women, and it causes testosterone production in men and guess what? Ovulation and lactation in women. So now FSH enters the testes and stimulates the Sertoli cells to begin. So these are cells in the testes, and they begin facilitating spermatogenesis using a negative feedback circle as illustrated here. And the LH also enters the testes, and the LH stimulates what? Yeah, the Leydig cells, and to make and release testosterone into the testes, but also the blood. So testosterone is the hormone responsible for the secondary sexual characteristics. I think you can remember, and about like a beard and so on. And it also stimulates spermatogenesis. These secondary sex characteristics include a deepening of voice, the growth of facial and pubic hair, and also the beginnings of the sex drive. A negative feedback system occurs in the male within rising levels of testosterone acting on the hypothalamus and also the pituitary gland to inhibit the release of gonadotropin, and then also FSH and LH, because you know they're all connected. The Sertoli cells in the testes produce the hormone inhibin. What do you think does that thing do? Yes, it inhibits something. And this inhibin is released into the blood when the sperm count is, guess what, too high or too low? Yes, too high, of course. And this inhibits the release then of gonadotropin and also FSH, which will cause what? Can you imagine? Yes, the spermatogenesis to slow down, which means to produce less sperm. So if the sperm count reaches 20 million per milliliter, sounds a lot, but it's no, the Sertoli cells sees the release of inhibin and the sperm count increases again, which is necessary. We do not want to go below that tiny number of 20 million because we consider that as infertile. Okay, I hope this is now a little bit clearer, and let me ask you again, yes, what can I ask you? What does GnRH stand for? Gonadotropin hormone, perfect. What does FSH stand for? Follicle stimulating hormone. And what does it cause in men? Very good. The sperm production. And do you remember what it does in women? Yes, follicle development. Now let's go over to the LH. What does this stand for? Yes, that's the luteinizing hormone. And what does it do in men? It causes testosterone production. And what does it do in women? Yes, it causes ovulation and also, do you remember? Lactation. Very good. Okay, so where are these two hormones produced? In the pituitary gland. Very good. And now, so FSH enters what in men? It takes a nice walk and then it goes where? Testes. Very good. And what does it stimulate there? That's maybe not that important. Yes, if you remember, then you were very good. The Sertoli cells. And what are they important for? Yes, spermatogenesis. Very good. And there's another hormone that also enters the testes. Do you remember? Yes, the LH. So it also takes a nice walk from the pituitary, that's the home, and takes a nice walk and ends up where? In the Leydig cells. Very good. And what are they, good for? Like, what do? They make and release testosterone into the testes and the blood. Very good. Now, we have this hormone that is responsible for the secondary sexual characteristics. What's its name? Testosterone. And it stimulates what? Spermatogenesis. Very good. And these secondary sex characteristics include, yes, deepening of voice and growth of hair and beginnings of the sex drive. So let's see. Okay, let's say there is a lot of testosterone. Do you know? So there are rising levels of testosterone acting on the hypothalamus and then also on the, because that's connected, the pituitary gland. And what does it do then if we have too many hormones of testosterone, like the level is too high? What we're going to do now? So that inhibits the release of gonadotropin, because this is how we can get the sperm low again. But because gonadotropin would then usually release FSH, but if it doesn't release FSH because we've just inhibited it, then it doesn't also release SFH, and then it kind of stops or slows down spermatogenesis. All right. And these Sertoli cells, they produce something. They also produce a hormone. This hormone is called inhibin. And what does it do? Yes, it inhibits the release of gonadotropin and FSH. Yeah, I think that's it. You were so good. Look at you. Now you actually understood the full cycle. You see? That was easy, wasn't it?